Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Dee's Mindful Monday Musings. Today, I would like to chat about words and the words we use and how we use them, and how the parental advice that we've all received to watch our mouths might just be the very best advice, or at least one of the very best pieces of advice that we've ever received in our entire lives. I'll tell you what I mean in just a minute. I am Dee, and I have this beautiful Eternal Soul Evolution YouTube channel, as well as my business, Eternal Soul Evolution. I decided to start this Mindful Monday Musings video series to just allow you to get to know me a little better and chat about some things that I have on my heart a lot of the time. So today, it is the words we use and how we use them. So I would like to begin this by saying I do realize that it takes a lot of mindfulness to shift the way we think about things and shift the words we use. Because listen, we've been using these words for a really long time. We've been using them ourselves. We've been listening to other people use them. And this kind of talk has been going on for generations. And we don't even think about it. So I would like to share with you some of the words that I have found over the course of time to be words that I'd like to extract from my vocabulary, or at least be way more intentional and mindful about the way I use them. Some of those words are hard, struggle, fight, difficult, broken, because we use these words, we throw them around all the time. Maybe not all the time, but often. We throw them around often, and we don't even think about the impact that they could have on our lives, right? Because we've always used them. We've grown up using them. We've grown up listening to other people say them, like I just said previously. So they just come out of our mouths and we don't even think anything about it. But let's take time to rewind a little. Take a breath and really look deeply at some of the things that we say in our everyday life, often without even realizing that the words are coming out of our mouths and the impact that they really truly have on our lives. So let's take the words hard, difficult. Um, when we use these words to describe something, is that thing that we're describing really something that we want to put our effort towards? I mean, we're talking about how difficult it is, how hard it is. Are those things that you really want to put your effort towards? I mean, I know I don't. If I already know that it's difficult and hard, I don't know if I even want to put my intentional effort towards it. And you may be wondering why I didn't say the word, I don't want to try it. That is a word, and it's been for me one of the most difficult words to eliminate, or um, at least decrease the use of. However, there is no try. There is only do or do not. There is no try. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, whatever, Yoda. Actually, it was brought to my attention that Buddha is the one who actually initially said that. But at any rate, I digress. When we do something new, it doesn't mean that it's hard. We've never done it before. There's a learning curve, right? So giving ourselves grace to learn through it, and let it be messy, and give ourselves permission to make mistakes. I mean, it's not going to be perfect for most of us. I mean, it is for some people. They have that innate ability to do something new, and it's just like they've been doing it their whole lives. And maybe they have. We'll talk about that in a second. But it's giving ourselves the process. I mean, like, think about when you were learning to cook. One of the things that I found so impressive when I was learning to cook when I was a teenager was watching my mom cook everything, all of these different things that require different amounts of time to cook, different methods of cooking. And somehow, like magic, she got it all done at the same time. And it was all hot and perfectly cooked for us to have for our dinner. That was amazing to me. And then the other thing that I found like magical was I just remember making this, I can't even call it a mistake, but just picking a bowl to put leftovers in and getting a bowl that was either way too big or way too small because I, as a teenager and a person who hadn't done this for my entire life like my mom had, I would pick out different bowls that were not the correct size to accommodate the leftovers because I didn't have that ability that my mom had developed over time to look at what's left in the bowl and see the space that it took up compared to the size of the bowl and put it in a bowl that would be perfect in size and shape for whatever was left in that bowl. I just thought that was amazing. And I was like, how do you, and I know that seems probably like a silly little thing to some of you, but how did she do that? It took her practice. I guarantee you, when she first started doing that, putting leftovers into bowls and cooking all the food and getting it done at the same time. There were times when the potatoes may not have been done when the meat was done, or the meat wasn't done when the potatoes were done, or whatever. Or maybe she burned something in her effort to get it all done at the same time because she was hurrying up to do it so it would be ready. But she allowed herself to learn. I remember I remember the funniest story about her early biscuits, and my dad told this story. It was so funny when they early on in their marriage, my mom was learning to make biscuits, and my dad said when she put them into the oven, they were this big around and that tall. When they came out of the oven, they were this big around and that tall, and they were like hockey pucks. So giving ourselves grace to realize that it's just a learning curve. We're just learning how to do it. We're not failing at it. We're just learning how not to do it. So allowing that to be a thing with us where we are mindful and just allow for that flow. Y'all heard me talk about flow a little bit in my last video, or maybe that was my live on my my group. I'm not sure. But anyway, just allowing room for that movement, that flow, and allowing ourselves to learn and experience and find the humor in it when it doesn't work out exactly as we envisioned that it would, right? But if we think of it as hard and difficult, we're not even going to want to give it a shot. We're not even going to want to put our effort towards that and our energy towards that because we've already made up our mind. There's no way we can do it because it's hard. It's difficult. So I just encourage you to be mindful of how that may affect your life if you decide to experience it for yourself and shift your speech. I know in my own personal life, I have really been diligent about this, especially in the last year and even more so in the last few months, because I have found that it has a huge impact when you watch your mouth, when you watch your thoughts, because you got to think it before you say it, right? So watching those thoughts and watching that mouth, and allowing yourself to pick different phrases. If you have some physical issues going on, I encourage you to think about how those physical issues are related to what you say. Words that we use that we don't even think about. Oh, that gets on my nerves. That gets on my nerves. That's a big one we say. That gets on my nerves. That's so annoying. It's irritating. Do you have any skin issues? Psoriasis, eczema? Do you have nerve issues in your extremities? Just think, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not encouraging you to diagnose yourself in any kind of way here. So, but I just am encouraging you to think about it because if those are things you say, they may very well be related to the physical issues you're having. You say that's a pain in the ass all the time. You have hemorrhoids or some other issue in your posterior region. Just think about it. Just think about it. I'm just saying it's because I've found in my own life it's really, really related. Do you say that kills me or you're killing me all the time or frequently? Maybe you just don't feel good, or maybe you've all of a sudden, or maybe not all of a sudden, or over time have developed some issues that could possibly kill you. I mean, Everything is connected. Everything is connected. Again, I'm not making any diagnoses. I'm not encouraging you not to go see your doctor if you're having physical symptoms, but I'm just encouraging you to think about it and how these things all kind of weave themselves together, right? If you are in the spiritual space at all, you may have heard that things are out here in our energy field before they ever get to our physical body as dis-ease. I've heard so many people talk about it, so many gurus, Wayne Dyer and other, amazing people like that have videos all over YouTube, and you're welcome to go look those up or do research on your own. I encourage you to experience it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I'm just throwing this out there as an idea for you to take a look at and embrace. And maybe you've never thought about it before. I know for many years I didn't. I know for many years I didn't. And actually, just very recently, I had healed myself of a skin condition years ago. And not too long ago, I found myself getting caught up because no matter how long we do this work, y'all, we will find periods of time where these things are brought back up to us so that we can see and actually look at them a different way. And I always say, I feel like it's the universe going, you've seen this before, you've experienced this before. What are you going to do differently this time, Dee? What are you going to do differently this time? So I had this situation where I allowed myself to get in my head about some things, and I found myself not saying out loud, but saying in my head, that's really irritating. It really bothers me. I don't understand it, and allowing, and all of a sudden I started having issues, not major issues, but some smaller issues with this skin condition again. And I was like, where did that come from? I wasn't sleeping well at night because I was all in my head about it. And I had to stop and take a look at myself and notice what I was doing. What was I doing? And I just sat there and I was like, okay, what is this teaching me? What is this telling me about myself and what I'm doing in my life right now? And I did this review and I started getting off of Facebook more because I found that I was really like almost in kind of an addictive mode on my Facebook because I have this business and it's all online based, or for the most part it is anyway. And so I have social media accounts where I share this information, and I was getting really in my head about the numbers and the responses and all, not in a negative way, but just wondering why there wasn't more participation and this and that. And then I came to this realization and had this information flow come in because I mindfully sat down and allowed myself to receive the information about what I needed to change and how things were being done by me in my life that was leading up to this outcome, right? So I got this information and it was like, I just said like a bunch of times. So forgive me for that if you're one of those people who is hung up on not enjoying that kind of thing. It's just, this is real life and this is me just chatting with you. So at any rate, I allowed this information to come in from the universe. And what I realized was it was like, hey, Dee, just relax, be the gardener of your life, plant the seed in the ground, right? That's the business, that's the post, that's all of the things that I put out, and let the universe take care of that. And all you have to do is water it, keep making posts, keep doing the things that are related to my business, whatever it is. Make sure that it's getting enough sunshine. There's only so much I can do on my end, right? And then allow the universe to grow it. Because once you plant that seed, there's nothing you can do to make it sprout. There's nothing you can do to make it pop through the soil. That's the universe's job. You did your job by putting it in the soil, watering it, making sure it has the light it needs by planting it in the proper location or whatever the case may be. And once I had that realization, I was like, I felt like this big weight had been lifted. I started sleeping better at night and all of those things. So I just encourage you to give this a shot, you know, experience it. Do it for a week, do it for a day, just shift the way you talk about things, shift the way your thoughts, and you can do it when it's coming out of your mouth, because I still have times where, especially with that word try, right? And want is another word, because if we say we want something, and I know this is so counterintuitive to what we've been taught our entire lives and what we've done our entire lives for generations and generations. But if we say we want it, in the moment that we say we want it, we're saying we don't have it. Because if we have it, then we don't have to want it because it's already there. So shifting that word to ask, I ask for something, I'm creating this. And also, I want to say right here that if you are having a phrase that's popping up in your mind right now as you're listening to this, and if you're listening to this, you are meant to be hearing this. Okay. You are meant to, anything that you come across on the internet and especially if it's something that you're really stopping and mindfully listening to, I promise you that's something you're meant to hear. It's going to teach you something in some way. So I'm inviting you also in this moment that if you do have a phrase that seems to be stuck on repeat in your mind and you find yourself saying it all the time and you don't know what to do about it, you're like, how do I change that into something more positive? How do I shift it into something that's going to mindfully bring in the results that I would love to have? Please put it in the comments below, or I drop the email to my personal my personal email. It's my business email, eternalsoulevolution@gmail.com. I'll drop that right in the description box below this video. Please either comment or send me the phrase through email if you don't prefer to put it in a comment. And I will help you come up with a different way of phrasing it so that it'll bring more positivity and more positive outcomes into your life. So I do um, would love to have you do that if that's something you would like to do. Okay, I do have a beautiful Facebook group associated with my podcast, Spiritually Speaking. I always drop that in the link, that link in the description box below these videos. And I would love to invite you into that group. September is my birth month, and if I didn't say it before, I do have some really amazing offers, discounts for the month of September coming up. And I always post all of these opportunities in my Facebook group first because those people have been hanging out with me and supporting me through being in my group and everything. So as a token of my gratitude towards those people, they always get the first dibs on any kind of offers. So I would love to invite you into the group. September's not here yet, or it will be the 2nd of September, I think, when this episode drops. But at any rate, these are going to be available for the entire month of September, but especially a couple things that you might be interested in for the month of September in my group, if you would love to join us there. And it's a beautiful space. I'd love to get to know you better as well. So I invite you to come over there and hang out with us. Let me think of what else is coming up. Nope, I think that's it for right now. So I just wanted to chat about watching your mouth, watching your mouth. So I'm mindfully doing it myself, and I invite you to give it a go and see how things change for you. So thank you all for joining me on this episode of Dee's Mindful Monday Musings. Again, I invite you to drop in the comments below or send me an email if you would like, and let me know if you have any topics that you would like to hear me talk about. Thank you very much for being here. I love every single one of you. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel by watching my videos, liking, sharing, subscribing. If you feel like leaving me a review for my videos, I would love for you to do that as well. So anyway, I think that's it for today. I will see you on the next one. I love you all.